Hello, and welcome to the Well-Read Monocle. Today, we are opening the pages of Clive Barker's Books of Blood Volume 5. This collection takes us from the grim concrete of a Liverpool housing estate to the sun-drenched isolation of a Greek island, exploring how the supernatural bleeds into our mundane reality. In this video, I will provide a comprehensive recap of all 4 novellas in the collection, breaking down the plots, characters, and chilling conclusions of each. So, let us begin with the first, and perhaps most famous story in the volume, The Forbidden. The story takes place on the Spectre Street estate, a desolate, vandalism-ravaged housing project in Liverpool. We follow Helen Buchanan, a university researcher working on a thesis titled Graffiti, the Semiotics of Urban Despair. While her husband Trevor and her colleagues dismiss the estate as a hopeless wasteland, Helen is fascinated by the layers of anger and art scrawled on its walls. While photographing the graffiti, Helen meets a young, weary mother named Anne-Marie and her baby, Carrie. Through Anne-Marie and other residents, Helen learns that the estate is gripped by fear. They whisper about a series of horrific murders, an old man killed in his flat, and a mentally disabled boy mutilated in a public lavatory. The locals attribute these crimes to a figure from urban legend, the Candyman. Helen, a rational academic, believes the Candyman is a myth created by the residents to make sense of the senseless violence of their lives. However, her skepticism is tested when she finds a boarded-up maisonette. Inside, amidst filth and decay, she discovers a terrifyingly detailed mural of a man with a gaping mouth and a hook for a hand. Beneath it is the slogan, "Sweets to the sweet." Determined to prove the crimes are the work of a mortal man, Helen investigates further. Tragedy strikes when Anne-Marie's baby, Carrie, is murdered. The community closes ranks, and Helen realizes the residents are hiding something. She returns to the empty maisonette, where she encounters a feral dog locked inside, and then, the legend himself. The Candyman appears to her. He is a ghastly figure, smelling of candy floss and vanilla, with a hook for a hand and a chest cavity teeming with bees. He explains that he is a creature of rumor, sustained by the belief and whispers of the people. Helen's skepticism threatens his existence. By trying to explain him away with logic, she is killing him. To preserve his legend, he must shed innocent blood. The story culminates on bonfire night. Helen realizes the residents have conspired to protect the myth. She sees Anne-Marie place a bundle into the center of a massive bonfire being built in the courtyard. Realizing it is the body of the murdered child, Helen crawls into the woodpile to retrieve him, hoping to expose the truth. But it is a trap. The Candyman is waiting for her inside the pyre. He embraces her, trapping her as the bonfire is lit. As the flames roar to life, the Candyman burns, his bees falling like meteors, but he is content, his legend is secure. Helen burns with him. The residents watch the fire, complicit and silent. Among the crowd is Helen's husband, Trevor, who sees a figure in the flames but does not realize it is his wife. Helen dies in the fire, but in doing so, she becomes the new legend, the woman with green eyes who will haunt the stories of Spectre Street forever. Leaving the smoke of Liverpool behind, we descend into the humid depths of London and the Madonna. This story centers on Jerry Colquhoun, a struggling businessman trying to sell a derelict swimming pool complex. He is dealing with Ezra Garvey, a ruthless underworld figure interested in redeveloping the site. During a tour of the decaying, maze-like building, Garvey pursues a naked teenage girl he spots in the shadows. His chase leads him into a hidden, steamy chamber where he discovers the girl nursing a small, grotesque creature. Repulsed and terrified, Garvey kills the creature and flees, but the strange atmosphere of the place has already infected him. Jerry, meanwhile, is captured by the women who inhabit the pools. He is taken to their sanctuary, a shower room where the Madonna resides. The Madonna is not a religious figure, but a shapeless, bioluminescent entity, an ancient, elemental force of fertility. Jerry watches as the entity births a glowing child. Unlike Garvey, Jerry is not disgusted, He is seduced by the mystery and sleeps with one of the women in the presence of the creature. The encounter changes both men physically. Garvey wakes up to find his body transforming into that of a woman. Unable to accept the loss of his masculine identity and power, the transformation drives him to suicide, and he drowns himself in the Thames. Jerry also begins to transform, his body softening and changing gender. However, Jerry accepts this metamorphosis. He realizes that the aggressive, rigid world of men was a cage he is happy to leave. He returns to the pools, only to find the water draining away. The women and the Madonna are leaving, retreating down the drains to the sea. In the final scene, Jerry dives into the whirlpool, allowing himself to be sucked down into the sewers and out to the ocean, embracing his new life with them. From the transformative waters of London, we travel to the dry, dusty heat of the Greek island of Kythnos for Babel's children. Vanessa Jape is a woman who loves the road less traveled. While driving on a remote track in Kythnos, she witnesses a bizarre scene, a man being chased by armed guards dressed as nuns. Vanessa is captured and taken to a secluded, fortress-like compound. She is interrogated by a man named Klein, who eventually reveals the facility's true purpose. It is not a prison or a monastery, but a sanctuary for a group of elderly savants. Decades ago, the world's superpowers created a secret think tank of great minds to make all major geopolitical decisions, ensuring logic and peace would prevail. Vanessa meets these great minds, including a chaotic old professor named Harvey Gom. She learns the terrifying truth: the system has decayed. The elders have become senile and bored. They no longer use logic to run the world. Instead, they determine the fate of nations by playing childish games of chance, specifically, racing frogs across a map of the world. Gom convinces Vanessa to help them escape. They steal her car and flee the compound, pursued by the nuns. The escape is a disaster. Gom drives the car off a cliff and into the sea. Vanessa survives, but the elders drown. She is dragged back to the compound by Klein. He shows her a room full of screens where world leaders are screaming in panic, paralyzed without the decisions from the compound. Klein tells her that with the elders dead, the world faces Armageddon because the leaders cannot function without orders. There is one survivor, an old man named Goldberg, but he refuses to play the games with Klein. He will only play with Vanessa. The story ends with Vanessa sitting in the courtyard under the laurel trees. She realizes she is trapped. To save the world from chaos, she must take her place in the asylum. She sits down opposite Goldberg to play the absurd games that will decide the fate of millions, resigning herself to the madness. Finally, we move to the claustrophobic confinement of Pentonville Prison for in the flesh. The protagonist is Cleve Smith, a prisoner serving time for a petty crime. He is assigned a new cellmate, a fragile young man named Billy Tate. Billy is the grandson of Edgar Tate, a notorious murderer who was executed and buried within the prison walls. Billy admits he committed crimes specifically to be sent to this prison to be near his grandfather's grave. Cleve soon realizes that Billy is acting as a medium. In his sleep, Billy is possessed by the spirit of Edgar Tate. Cleve begins to share in these supernatural experiences, finding himself transported in dreams to a purgatorial city of the dead. This is a dusty, silent replica of the world where murderers are condemned to relive their crimes in endless isolation. Edgar Tate is desperate to escape this afterlife and return to the world of the living. Cleve tries to protect Billy, but the spirit of the grandfather is too strong. In a grotesque ritual within the cell, Edgar Tate displaces Billy's soul. The possession becomes a physical transformation. Billy's body is reshaped into the likeness of his grandfather. The reborn Edgar Tate murders a prison guard and escapes into the night to resume his life of violence. Cleve is left behind in the cell. However, rather than being horrified, Cleve feels a strange sense of enlightenment. He has seen the mechanics of the afterlife and understands that death is not an end, but another state of being. He spends his remaining time in prison listening to the voices of the dead, content in the knowledge of what awaits him. And that brings us to the end of Books of Blood Volume 5. This collection explores the idea that our reality is thin, and just beneath it lie other worlds, worlds of myth, fluid identity, secret governments, and the persistent will of the dead. In each story, the protagonist is offered a glimpse behind the curtain, and in every case, there is no going back. I hope you enjoyed this journey through the dark imagination of Clive Barker. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe to the Well-Read Monocle for more literary summaries. Until next time, keep reading.